Welcome to Get Solutions. This is Lokesh. If you still not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, so please subscribe today only so that you will get my latest videos. So in previous classes we have discussed the various topics under this module, that is the business combination and the scope of Indian Accounting Standard 103 and the differences between the 103 and Accounting Standard 14, and also we have discussed the concept that is amalgamation and acquisition, and also we have discussed the transfer company and transferee company and horizontal merger, vertical merger and conglomeration merger, and the two types of conglomeration merger, that is product extension and market extension merger and concentric merger. And also we have discussed the other concepts, that is demerging or demerger concept and spin-off and split up and acquisition or absorption or takeover. And also we have discussed the acquiring company and acquired company and differences between amalgamation and acquisition. And also we have discussed the differences between the amalgamation in the nature of merger and amalgamation in the nature of purchase. And also in last class we have discussed the objectives of mergers and acquisition, that is why the companies will be going to enter merger and acquisition. Okay, so these are the theoretical part, that is these are the theory in this module. So it will be asked for 6 marks or 12 marks in your examination. So the next concepts which is related to practical part. Okay, so the next concept is computation of purchase consideration. So before enter into the topic, that is various methods, that is lump sum, net worth, net payment and intrinsic value method. So before going to these concepts, so first of all you have to know what is purchase consideration. See, purchase consideration is nothing but, for example, from starting only I am giving the example, that is A and B company are the transfer company and C is the new company, that is a transferee company. For example, assume A company and there is a B company. So B company acquire the assets or taken over the sum of assets and liabilities from this A company. Okay, for that is for taken over assets and liabilities from A company by the B company will be going to pay some amount for taken over assets and liabilities, right? So that amount will be called as purchase consideration. Okay, so this purchase consideration will be given by the B company by 4 methods. Okay, see, by 4 method means the company will be going to pay the purchase consideration based on any one method, but there are 4 methods to compute the purchase consideration, so that we will discuss in this class. So go to the methods of purchase consideration. Okay, see, under that first one, lump sum method, and second one net worth or net asset method, and third one net payment method, and fourth one intrinsic value method or share exchange method. So in these 4 methods, net asset or net worth method and net payment method and intrinsic value method are the most important methods. Okay, so you have the problems under these methods. Okay, so let's move on to the first topic, that is lump sum method. See, lump sum, the name only indicates lump sum amount, that is lump sum money. Okay, so under this method the transferee company will be going to give the purchase consideration to the transfer company or to the acquired company in the form of lump sum method. Let's see what is lump sum method. See, the purchasing company may agree to pay lump sum amount, that is lump sum, to the vendor company. So vendor company is nothing but transferor company or seller company. Why means because it will be transferring the assets and liabilities to the transferee company. So that's why the companies will be called as transferor company or vendor company. Okay, here the purchasing company will be agreed to pay some lump sum amount to the transferor company or vendor company on account of purchase of its business, because the transferee company or purchasing company acquire the or purchases the assets and liabilities from the transferor company, so that the purchasing company will be going to give some consideration. So that will be in the form of lump sum amount. When the purchasing company or transferee company pay purchase consideration to the transferor company based on some lump sum amount, then it is under lump sum method purchase consideration. Okay, see for example, see, a purchasing company agreed to take over a business of selling company, which means I have already explained in the example, if A company transfer its assets and liabilities to the B company, then B company becomes the purchasing company and A company becomes the seller company or vendor company. For taken over assets and liabilities by the B company from A company, the B company will be going to some amount, that is some purchase consideration for asset and liability taken over to the A company. Okay, assume here a purchasing company, that is transferee company. In the example, B company agreed to take over a business of A company, okay, that is selling company, for rupees 5 lakhs. So the value of net asset and liabilities are taken over by the B company of A company, the total value of rupees 5 lakhs. So in such cases, the purchase consideration is rupees 5 lakhs. No calculations or no other calculations are needed. Okay, see, with the example only I am going to give a clarity. Here A company transferring its assets and liabilities to the B company. Okay, so for assets taken over or liabilities taken over by the B company of A company, B company must and should, it will be going to pay some amount for taken over assets and liabilities. So B company will be going to pay based on the agreement, that is 5 lakhs. Then under lump sum method, this 5 lakh is the purchase consideration. So then no need to calculate purchase consideration again. So in this method, the 5 lakh is the purchase consideration. Okay, see the next method. See the second method, net worth or net asset method. Okay, see under this method how the companies will be going to calculate the total purchase consideration. So under this method, the purchase consideration is calculated by adding up the values of the various assets taken over by the transferee company or purchasing company, and then deducting therefrom the values of the various liabilities taken over by the purchasing company. That in this see the example, we know that if A company transfer its assets and liabilities to the B company based on the agreement, then definitely B company will be going to take on over some assets and liabilities of A company, right? So under lump sum method, the B company will be paying some lump sum money to the A company for assets and liabilities taken over. So under purchase that is under lump sum method, the purchase consideration will be 5 lakhs. Okay, so no need to calculate again purchase consideration, right? So in this second method, that is under net asset or net worth method, how we are going to calculate the purchase consideration in the sense, see with the example, A company transferring assets and liabilities to the B company. For that, B company will be going to pay some purchase consideration, but under net asset method or net worth method. Okay, so how the purchase consideration will be going to calculate it in the sense, see, B company taken over assets and liabilities both, right? So in this case we have to calculate the purchase consideration. So we have to take the values of all assets taken over by the B company. Okay, so we have to take the all values of assets taken over by the B company, and we have to deduct the all the liabilities of A company, which is payment made by the B company. So total values of liabilities na ನಾವು ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬರೋ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂನ ಬಂದು ನಾವು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ನೆಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಆರ್ ನೆಟ್ ವರ್ತ್ ಮೆಥಡ್. Okay, so in this method only one thing you have to keep it in mind. So the name only indicates, that is net worth and net asset method. So in this case we have to calculate the purchase consideration based on considering the total value of assets and total value of liabilities taken over by the transferee company of the transferor company. Okay, so either it is a book value or agreed value. So when book value will be considered, when in the problem they have specified. Okay, so ಯಾವಾಗ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಬುಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಬುಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಗೆ ಆ ಅಸೆಟ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ, ಆಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆ ಬುಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂನ ನಾವು ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಫ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಅಗ್ರೀಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವೈಲ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ definitely I am going to explain step by step how to calculate the purchase consideration under various methods. Okay, see, in this case we have to calculate the purchase consideration by taking the all values of assets, and also we have to deduct the all liabilities taken over by the purchasing company or transferee company from the transferor company or vendor company or seller company. Okay, see, under this method, the values of total assets and liabilities for the purpose of calculating the purchase consideration are those which are agreed or agreement between the purchasing company and seller company or vendor firm. Okay, so if the vendor firm sell its assets and liabilities to the transferee company at book value, so we have to consider the book value in the calculation of purchase consideration. If else, we have to consider the agreed values in the calculation of purchase consideration. That's it. Okay, see, the values of the assets and liabilities for the purpose of calculating the purchase consideration are agreed between the purchasing company and the seller firm. Okay, and not the values at which the various assets and liabilities appear in the balance sheet. So balance sheet in the sense book value. Okay, so if they specify only, if in the problem they have specified to take over the assets and liabilities at a book value, then we have to consider the book value. If not, we have to consider the agreed values. Okay, so this is the major concept in this net asset method or net worth method. So keep it in mind. See, this is the formula or format to compute the net asset or purchase consideration under net asset or net worth method. So we have to take all the values or agreed values of asset taken over by the transferee company, and we have to deduct all the agreed values of the liabilities taken over. So after deducting the all agreed values of the liabilities from the asset taken over, then we will get a total net asset. So this will be called as purchase consideration. Okay, So in order to calculate this purchase consideration, you have to keep it in mind the sum of the important points. Okay, so the following relevant points are to be noted while ascertaining the purchase consideration or purchase price under net asset method or net worth method. Okay, see the first important note: if the transferee company or purchasing company agrees to take over all the assets of the transferor company, it would mean inclusive of cash or bank balances. Okay, see this point: if the transferee company, so which is, so ultimately B is purchasing the assets and liabilities from the A company, so then B becomes transferee company and A becomes transferor company. Okay, so when B company purchasing the assets and liabilities from the A company, so in the problem they have specified, that is B company taken over all assets and liabilities from A company, means it also, that is the assets includes cash and bank balances. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶು ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಏನು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಬಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ಓವರ್ ದಿ ಆಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಆ ಅಸೆಟ್ಟು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಕ್ಯಾಶು ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಸೊ how in the sense, see for example B company, that is transferee company, taken over all assets and liabilities of B company except cash and bank balances. ಆಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಗ್ನೋರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಫ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ mentioned about the cash and bank balances, then we have to assume the transferee company will be going to taken over all assets and liabilities including cash and bank balance ಅಂತ assumption ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. Okay, so that is the point here. See, once again, if the transferee company or purchasing company agrees to take over all the assets of the transferor company, it would mean inclusive of cash and bank balances. That is, we have to assume including cash and bank balances, the transferee company taken over all the assets of the transferor company ಅಂತ assumption ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. Okay, so second important note, that is the term all assets however does not include the fictitious assets. So in first point ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ವಿ, so if the company taken over all assets means we have to assume including cash and bank balances, but that assets does not include the fictitious assets. So what is this fictitious assets? So these fictitious assets are created by the accounting entry, that is a temporary basis. So it includes under assets in the balance sheet. So let's see what are the fictitious assets. Okay, see like debit balance of the profit and loss account. So debit side ಏನಾದರೂ profit and loss account ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು fictitious assets, that is a temporary basis ಮೇಲೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. So that's why it is called as fictitious assets ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಕರಿತೀವಿ. And also preliminary expenses account and discount and other expenses on issue of shares and debentures and advertising expenses. So these are all the expenses or assets which is created on temporary basis that mentioned and recorded in the balance sheet. So ಆ fictitious assets ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಉಳಿದಿರೋ assets ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು assumption ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. Okay, so second point, the term all assets does not include the fictitious assets. So because why means it is created temporary basis, so that's why we have to exclude all the fictitious assets while calculating the purchase consideration under net asset method or net worth method. That is, we have to exclude the debit balance of the profit and loss account and preliminary expenses account and discount and other expenses on issue of shares and debentures and advertisement expenses account and other fictitious assets. So if they have given the fictitious assets in the balance sheet, we have to ignore. So we have to exclude that fictitious assets in calculating the purchase consideration. But we have to assume, if they specified in the problem, the transferee company taken over all assets and liability, means we have to assume including cash and bank balances. So cash and bank balances ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಇಗ್ನೋರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕೆ ಹೊರತು, ಸೊ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ including cash and bank balances, the transferee company or purchasing company will be taken over the all assets and liabilities of the transferor company. Okay, see the next point. Any specific asset not taken over by the transferee company should be ignored while computing the purchase price or purchase consideration. That means, if they specified in the problem, if any asset, because of any environmental factor or any other reasons, the transferee company not taken over any assets from the transferor company, means we have to ignore that assets while calculating the purchase consideration. So that is the point. Any specific asset not taken over by the purchasing company or transferee company should be ignored while computing the purchase consideration. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಅಸೆಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಏನಾದರೂ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, then we have to ignore that asset in calculating the purchase consideration. That's it. Okay, see the next point. If there is any goodwill or prepaid expenses, the same are to be included in the asset taken over unless otherwise stated. Means, see, regarding goodwill and prepaid expenses, the same are to be included in the asset taken over unless otherwise stated. That means, if there is any goodwill and prepaid expenses are recorded in the balance sheet, if the company specifies that all the assets and liabilities are taken over by the transferee company, means we have to assume goodwill and prepaid expenses are also taken over by the transferee company of the transferor company unless it otherwise stated. Means, so goodwill ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೀಪೇಯ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಗ್ರೀಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗುಡ್ವಿಲ್ ಪ್ರೀಪೇಯ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಓವರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಗುಡ್ವಿಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಪ್ರೀಪೇಯ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಅಂಡ್ ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟೆಡ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಗುಡ್ವಿಲ್ ಪ್ರೀಪೇಯ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಈ ಗುಡ್ವಿಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರೀಪೇಯ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಇಗ್ನೋರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ including goodwill and prepaid expenses, the company, that is transferee company, will be going to take over all assets and liabilities. So that we should consider in the calculation of purchase consideration unless otherwise stated. Okay, see the next condition. The term liability will always signifies all the liabilities to the third parties. Yes, of course. So the liability means we have to pay something to some other persons, right? So that is here the term liability will always signifies all the liabilities to the third parties. So trade liabilities are those incurred for the purchase of goods such as trade creditors or bills payable. Okay, see, liabilities will be must and should be taken over by the transferee company, because while acquiring the assets and liabilities from the transferor company by the transferee company, on behalf of the transferor company, the transferee company will be going to pay the liabilities to the respective persons or to be shareholders. So that's why the transferee company will be going to taken over all the liabilities of the transferor company on behalf of the payment. Okay, so on behalf of the transferor company for payment to the shareholders of the transferor company. So that's why here telling that the term liability is always signifies that liability is payment to the third parties. Therefore, all the trade liabilities are those incurred for the purchase of the goods such as trade creditors or bills payables. So liabilities ಏನಿರಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Okay, next see the other liabilities. So like bank overdraft and tax payable and outstanding expenses are not a part of trade liabilities. So except these bank overdraft and tax payables and outstanding expenses are not included in those liabilities. So trade creditors and bills payable is current liability, right? So ಅದನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ಗೆ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಓವರ್ ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪೇಯಬಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ, ಈವನ್ ದೋ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದರ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರಿಂಗ್ as a part of liability to calculate the purchase consideration under net asset or net worth method. So that you have to keep it in mind. If you confirm with these conditions, definitely it will be very easy to calculate the purchase consideration under net asset method or net worth method. Okay, so observe all the points and conditions, and you have to know all the conditions to calculate the purchase consideration under net asset or net worth method. See the last condition, the liabilities do not include the accumulated or undistributed profits like general reserve. So these are the undistributed profits to the shareholders, right? See, general reserve and security premium and workman accident fund and insurance fund and capital reserve and dividend equalization funds. So these are the accumulated profits and undistributed profits, so which we have to distribute in future to the shareholders, but it is not distributed. That's why it is called as undistributed profits. If there is any undistributed profits or accumulated profits like general reserve and security premium and workman compensation, that is workman's accident fund and insurance fund and capital reserves and dividend equalization fund, that we should not consider for the calculation of purchase consideration. Okay, so these are the important points under net asset method or net worth method. So keep it in mind all the points, then it will be easy to calculate the purchase consideration under net asset method or net worth method. So it is very important for your 6 marks question. Okay, so thanks for watching. Thank you once again.